just nearly 3 o'clock here in Changi Airport, which means it's about 5 or 6 in Australia. Oh, that doesn't show up very well. Oops, there comes a bus. I'm not going to be able to walk in there. So I got here, when did I get here? I've lost all sense of time and thing. I think I've had 5 hours sleep and 2 nights. That's Terminal 2, so I was there for ages. I was at Terminal 2 for ages, and I was at Terminal 1 for ages. And that's when I realised I still had 4 hours to go before the plane went, and that's when I realised they weren't going to let me on a flight from Singapore into India without an Indian visa, even though I'd given up on ever finding that India visa in my emails after it supposedly take 3 to 5 working days, and I was on day 8 by then. So I thought, well, the only thing I can do is buy a flight to Kathmandu. Oh God, buy a flight to Kathmandu, and therefore they'll let me into Trivandrum. Because I've got an onward flight and I'm just in transit. When I got to the airline yesterday, they said, no, we can't let you on the flight because you've got no visa for India. And I said, no, I'm just in transit. I'm not going to leave the airport. I'm just going to stay in Trivandrum, get back on the flight, Delhi, get back on the flight and end up in Kathmandu. We've got $100 American here, and you get a visa on arrival. And that's all I can do, and then later on come back to Kuala Lumpur for my flight home in 26 days. Well, it's freezing in here. That's why I went out there in the first place. I had to go out there and get warm because I haven't got warm enough clothes, and it's going to be cooler in Kathmandu Valley in December. In November is the end of spring. It's an interesting part of the airport here. There's 4 terminals. So this is the 3rd terminal now. Like I said, I was hanging in Terminal 2, got on the Skybus Terminal 1. I realised I wasn't going to fly. And came to Terminal 3 because this is where Batik Airlines flies out directly to Kathmandu, and I've had to buy another ticket because my flight left at 20:30, 8 p.m, at 8:30, and at 20 minutes before that flight, or 10 minutes before, so it must have been 8:10, suddenly when I was charging my phone, there's an email saying, oh, here's your India visa, sorry, it must have gotten lost in spam, and thank you for your email, and there you go. And I looked up and I went, they're not going to let me board. And then that flight was late and delayed, and that bloody plane was sitting on that tarmac for another almost an hour. But rules is rules. They weren't going to let me on.